Well, hello everyone there. This is John with the Home Caregiving Channel. Today's topic is about understanding hospice. Now, I believe hospice did not intend to be a secret society, but I believe because I did some research on them, and I believe that each hospice is independently owned because there's no headquarters of hospice. So that's what we're talking about because they're kind of unknown to the average Joe or Jane out there. And so, hospice, I'm going to tell you how they operate from my observation. Now, my observation was in my home as they were serving my wife. So, if I get something wrong, it's unattended, but it is what it is. What hospice will call you before you call them. On the average, hospice will call you and say, I think it's time. You ought to consider it. And please, when they do that, when they make that call to you, do it. Because you're going to find hospice is what is golden. That golden nugget again. It's needed in home health care. Hospice is. So, what they do, if you say yes, come in. Within about a half hour, one or two people will come in, will ask for your insurance, whether it be Medicare or two insurances, which is even better. And they will ask you what the illness is. They'll ask you what the condition is. They'll look at her and assess her and all that kind of stuff. Then they will leave. And what they're doing when they leave is they'll check in with the insurance. Will you pay? If the yes, we will pay. And then the same day, drugs, narcotics will come to your home. Remember, when you get into hospice, it's palliative care or continuous care part of it. You've been in continuous care from bedridden to hospice, and continuous care still goes on, but palliative begins pretty much right here. So they'll drive drugs down to your house, and they'll instruct you how to use it. There's information on the bottles and the sticks, and you can start medicating her so she's not in pain. Or him or her. I say her because always I use my example, but him or her. So the next day, a RN will come in, a chaplain will come in. Don't be scared. He's a good guy. You won't see him much, maybe once or twice, top 3 times in the hospice time. And bed bath will come in, and you do not believe how golden this is. It really is. Because the chaplain is looking out for your soul and their soul, because they're not left this world yet. He'll witness, he will, gently, kindly. Then the bath lady comes in, lady or man, it could be one. From then on, you probably found out already, you no longer can go to a shower. It's just not doable. So when the showers stop, you ought to be thinking about hospice. Yeah. But right now, I can give somebody a bath in a bed and be as clean as a shower because I know how to do it. I've watched enough, I've observed enough, so I know how to do it. It's not that hard. So, once you're going into hospice, Remember, I've told you in other videos that this is when insurance will pay for custodial care. Always before they denied it, or you only could buy one time a year a custodial care item. So now they pay custodial care because they pay all the charges of hospice. Hospice is that much respected by the inmates. Inmates. For 24 years of that, by the insurance. Hospice is really respected by the insurers. That's why they just pay all of the charges of hospice. Now, you might in hospice get better. It's a possibility. So what happens if you get better? If you get better at the end of the pay period, the pay time that they've given hospice, probably like 90 days. At the end of that 90 days, they're going to do another assessment of you, the original person. They're going to look at your loved one. They're going to assess them again. And if they got better, hospice will come out of home. Then you go back to curative care again. It doesn't mean that your loved one's going to get healed. That doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that at all. And very few times can you get better in the hospital. But there's that chance. There's that chance you can get better. More likely, when you're reassessed again, they're looking and assessing you, and you've declined, you will stay in hospice. And they'll go back to the office and they'll say, the person has declined, we're going to stay with your approval, and the insurance will approve them. So that's basically how hospice works. It's beautiful how they operate. It is really beautiful. They take a lot of care away from you. At this time, you are totally out of the picture because of your health, because there's no energy, because you have nothing to give at this time. And hospice will, because they come in so often, give you break after break after break. They won't come in and say, take a break, but just take a break. Do it for yourself. So, hospice, be it known, a lot of people think, well, you're in hospice, you're dead. No, you could get better. But on the average, I believe, hospice is 9 months. There'll be some that are less than 9 months. There'll be some that's way over 9 months. But I think on average, you're looking at 9 months. And if you do the living will, the average on the living will is 12 days. We went 19. And if you've seen my social change, you know how I feel about that. Why would we execute inmates 2 minutes and they're went to sleep? Well, I had to starve, no food, no water for my wife for 19 stinking days. Oh, I better not get on that soapbox. Look at that video. You'll see me on my soapbox. And I can't do that. I need somebody to pick up that cross because I've just got too much on my plate doing what I'm doing. But that's how you can understand hospice. They come to help you, help your loved one. They'll dope them up, but your loved one feels no pain. It's palliative care. Take care of the pain. Palliative. You're not trying to heal them. You're not curative. Palliative. You just take care, make them comfortable. you can see I'm about to cry. You see my eyes tear you up a lot. And it's been 10 years, but talking about it with you, I relive it to a point. And them 19 days, whew, make my blood boil. But don't wait. I waited 2 years too long before I brought hospice in. And that really cost me. I didn't get that no 2 year break after break after break. I didn't get that because I was scared of hospice because I didn't know about them. And that's why I make this video for you, because no one knows about them unless you've had them in the home. And no one knows about caregiving unless you've done caregiving in the home. So it's I hope hospice doesn't get bad. I believe I've told you how they operate in the home. That's how they operated in my home. And I put it in the program book because people just don't understand hospice. But when you have to use hospice, you are, like me, respect them. Because they truly do one fine and blessed job for you and your loved one. They truly do. So when that phone call comes, so-and-so, isn't it about time? A gentle soul will ask for hospice to come in. They'll respect it. They know the emotional trial, somewhat. They know the emotional trial you've been under. The depression, they don't know it, but I know the depression you've been under. The depression of your loved one's been under. By this time, your loved one has probably accepted they're going to die once hospice comes in. Because when you start continuous care, it's hot and heavy. Yeah, it's hot and heavy. So hard to do. And I want to put this out there. I don't want to scare you, but I was so afraid of still care, of her going into a coma, and never coming out. And I just had to take care of the body. And that's a lot. That's a lot to do. And I just didn't have it in me to do that. So I was praying to God, no still care, please. I just couldn't do it. I researched it, looked into it. I just couldn't do it. By that time, I was out of the picture. I really was. I was exhausted, like no exhaust. I was so exhausted, I was near death myself. And that's what I'm talking about. That grinder will grind you to non-existence. Non-existence. And still, you have to get up and do care to your loved one. I don't mean to depress you, I really don't, but I ain't going to sugarcoat it. I've told you that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I will tell you the truth. Because if I lie to you, you're going to find out different and be mad at me. I don't lie to you on home caregiving. I tell you the truth. Because it's the hardest thing I ever done. And I mean it. I'm out of time. I got my last 30 seconds here. God bless you, those in home caregiving. Until we meet again, goodbye. This is John at the Home Caregiving Channel saying goodbye.